Vicky Goes On and On with Vicky Stokes and James Wells. So hello, welcome back to Vicky Goes On and On. This week we will be mostly talking about religion with a lot of diversions on the way. And I hope that we remain respectful. If you're offended by anything in this podcast, I apologise in advance. It is never my intention to offend. It's a little bit James's intention, but it's not mine.
Yeah.
Would you not agree, James?
Yeah.
You like to be a what's the word? Saboteur.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do it on purpose. It's just,
Yeah. Well, but it's not my intention. So,
no.
and
not,
as
not
always,
mine. Not mine.
And as always, James is joining me to bounce off of.
Hello. So Jesus.
Oh yeah, he's a good. Well, we just celebrated his death.
We did. I was going to say birthday, but it's not, is it? That's Christmas.
No, that's Christmas. The two big ones, birth and death.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? That
what?
Well, that Christians like really go all out for the Jesus's death thing. It's like
it's not.
Oh, because he died to save us. Oh well, look what we did with that.
But you're focusing on the negative. It's more about the resurrection.
Because the poor geezer died.
Yeah, but he was resurrected. It's more about the resurrection than it is about the death. I mean, the death obviously helps. The resurrection.
Yeah, but you don't have one without the other.
No.
Yes, I know, but I didn't know. Even though I read the Bible, I obviously didn't pay attention to the Jesus-y bits, which is ridiculous because that's really the climax of that book.
Yeah.
But then it ends with Revelation, which I think is much more interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's all about Armageddon and end times, which is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's in the tomb, and then somebody that is very Christian, she's married to a vicar, she was telling me, oh no, but then he went somewhere. And anyway, this was a few weeks ago and I've now forgotten. And she was flabbergasted that I didn't know. And I said, well, why would I know? I'm not a Christian. She said, but your mother is a Catholic. I said, well, she's a Christian.
Yeah. Well, what?
This woman's known me for 9 years.
Well, yeah. So he rose from the tomb.
So this is what I thought happened, right? And obviously Jesus Christ Superstar missed that bit out or something, or I've just remembered that one great song that I like that isn't that one.
Are you thinking of the King Herod one that Rick Mouse sings?
No. I like Everything's All Right. Yes, everything's fine. I like that song. That's a good song. Anyway, so this is what I thought happened. He carries the cross to the mount. He gets crucified. He turns to the thief and the other geezer. They have a chat. Jesus eventually dies. They put him in a tomb. 3 days later, he is risen, right? But he goes off and Mary Magdalene's there and everyone's like, wow, check this out. This is an amazing thing. But my manager, who's this person, she was saying, no, he goes and, I don't know, hangs out with some people or something. I don't know, actually.
Goes to like a rave or something.
Maybe, but Bible times rave.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been a boring rave then, surely.
I don't know, though. You could turn water into wine. You'd be really popular, wouldn't you?
Would you reckon?
Yeah, but he was there.
Do you reckon he was like the headline act and he was like, I can't let these people down. I need to.
And now for my next trick. Are you suggesting that Jesus is Darren Brown?
No, not at all.
Oh, right.
Paul Daniels, maybe. But yeah. So
he never turned water into wine. I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
So he went somewhere, and then what? What did he do after that? Did he then go back?
Then he went to heaven.
Oh, okay.
Jesus resurrection.
So he's gone to
aftermath.
The aftermath.
This time it's personal. Right. Wait. Post-resurrection. He went for dinner. And the disciples recognize him. I mean, that's a painting, so I don't think it's
not
legit.
the
No,
the Last
not
Supper.
the Last Supper. No,
Because surely, if he goes for dinner after being dead,
the post-resurrection appearances of Jesus are the reported earthly appearances of Jesus to his followers after his death and burial. Right. Believers point to them as evidence of his resurrection and identity as the Messiah, seated in heaven on the right hand of God. Others interpret these accounts as subjective visionary experiences. That is from Wikipedia. So, yeah, well, I should have read the epistles better. But I didn't want to.
No.
Reading other people's letters are always dull, aren't they? Yeah. I think I was just really excited to get to Revelation. And so I think I might have skipped. But Revelation, right, the description of heaven sounds boring.
Yeah. Do you reckon anyone's ever gone up there and go, actually, can you... I've changed my mind.
Well, no, because maybe
that's what Jesus did.
Maybe, and that's why he went, actually, I'm going to go for dinner.
Yeah, and I'm going to have a little wander around, and people were like, fucking hell, he looks like Jesus. How old was Jesus when he died?
33.
Was he?
I believe so. Is this like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Are you Chris Tarrant? Do I have this like trivia, Bible trivia with Vicky Stokes? Oh, between 30 and 36.
Who, Jesus?
Yeah.
Do you reckon he looks old though?
No, man, he's Jesus.
Yeah, but people look younger nowadays, don't they? Older people.
That's true. I was looking at Twitter the other day, and there was a photo of a professional footballer in the 60s or 70s, and the guy was like 35.
Yeah.
He looked about 58. This is an athlete, let us not forget.
Yeah.
People did look old in the olden days.
Yeah, but professional footballers were just smoking and fucking drinking all the time.
Yeah, well, I don't think I look my age. I have a spot.
Wrinkles. Oh, you've dyed your hair though.
I have.
I just noticed that.
I bought an Easter egg, right, for 75p.
Did you eat it all?
Yeah, it was a little one, a mini eggs one. And but what was disappointing was when I opened it, it was, sometimes chocolate has that white bloom on it because it's been like a little bit melted and then it's reset. Yeah. And it tastes all right, but it's disappointing,
not the same, is it?
No, it's not.
You know that it's been tainted. That's why. It's kind of like, nah, it's all right, but it's not.
But then what do I want for 75p? You've got to set yourself up for disappointment. Yeah. Life is an unending series of disappointments.
And that's the real message of Easter.
Yes, that's true. I think it's really interesting that in Spanish, you say Pascua is Easter, and which is the same as, and in the Jewish faith, it's Pesach.
Okay.
So they obviously all have the same root, which is Pesach, right?
Yeah.
And then we, in this language, are like, Easter, from the like Celtic Oestra.
Yeah.
That's pagan, because what the Christian church did was they just went, right, that's a really good Saturnalia over Christmas. Yeah. That's a really convenient time of year to like steal. We'll just hijack that religious ceremony and we'll put all of this, because the tree thing, right, in the Bible it says do not bring a tree and place it in your home and adorn it, because that is pagan. What the hell are we doing?
That's what we do every year,
Yeah, because anyway, so I think that's fascinating. Easter.
It's the kind of it's the commercial thing, isn't it? Kind of all ties in. Yeah.
But also, I think that it's nicer, isn't it, to have a chocolate egg than a emaciated Jesus stabbed up on a cross.
I mean, I know which I'd rather eat.
Yeah, Jesus.
Well,
well, you do if you have communion, of course.
Of course,
that whole transubstantiation or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the wine and the blood and body of our Lord.
Yeah.
Used to like
Jesus
the wine.
Christ, our Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
I used to go to church every Sunday, and that will surprise you, I'm sure. And we once, my friends and I, found the store of wine, and we were so excited. And then I read the bottle, and it was 0% alcohol. So I was like, "You people, man,
that's annoying." No, that's upset me. Yeah.
So when I was 11, I didn't go to school for 9 months, and there's a lot to say about that. So maybe that will be pregnant? Its own. No.
9 months, and you had to, once the baby was born, it was then sent
No, I was just
at school, and no one knew the weather.
I was just lazy and crazy.
Yeah, lazy with child.
I wasn't pregnant. I swear down, brother. I swear down. I wasn't pregnant. I mean, it was basically a year, but it was solidly 9 months.
Oh, suddenly it's been a year. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I went once in a while to school, and then I just didn't go.
When you wasn't showing.
I mean, I wish, because that makes me sound much more exotic, but no.
Anyway, I do apologise. 9 months, you didn't go to school.
I didn't go to school. Anyway, that was a whole other thing. So when I finally went to school again, I went to a different school, and I reconnected with a girl who I'd gone to primary school with. And she has a sister who I became really good friends with. And that family were born again Christians. So I used to just hang out with them on the weekend because they lived in the street across from me. And I was invited to go to church with them. So I was like, oh, is there wine? I mean, I was only like 13. But they were like, yeah, after church, we have a drink and we have some food. And I was like, well, if there's wine involved, then yeah, all right.
At 13?
Yes.
Fucking hell.
Well, look, I don't take drugs.
No.
So I was like moving my Mawam.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So anyway, they would pray for me. And when I was a kid, I don't really understand how this happened, and I kind of forgot that it had happened until my brother Philip reminded me. But I used to go to Sunday school with a lady called Dorothy up the road from my mum and dad's house. And I said to my mum, when I was like in my 20s, I said to my mum, why did I go to church with Dorothy? And she said, oh, because she asked if you wanted to go to church, and we asked you and you said yeah. And so for about a year I went to church with this lady, and it was very pleasant. But here's my problem. I remember we were learning about Jesus Christ, and you heard of him, innit? Is it 5 loaves and 2 fishes? 2 loaves and 5 fishes? No, 5 loaves and 2 fishes.
There was loaves and fishes that fed 5,000, but I don't know.
Yes,
exactly.
So I remember learning about that, and I remember leaning back on my chair in Sunday school and crossing my arms like a little, old lady, and thinking. I remember thinking this phrase. That's a bit much, innit?
Oh.
I came home and I said to my dad, and he said, yeah. I said, you heard of this Jesus guy? He said, yeah. For real. I was like 7. I said, do you know he's the Son of God? He said, yeah. I said, I don't know about that, I don't know. And he said, listen, Vicky, some people believe in God and some people don't believe in God, and you have to be respectful of their opinion and their belief. You're not right and they're not wrong necessarily, okay? Whatever you think is what you think, and that's fine, but that doesn't mean that you're right. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, look, your mum believes in God. She believes in creationism and she believes in the Bible. I don't, he said, believe in God. I don't believe in creationism and I don't believe in the Bible. And I said, yeah, but you know this Jesus guy, he fed the 5,000 with some bread and fish. And he said, yes, that is one of the stories in the Bible. I said, I don't buy it. And that was when I began my exploration into world religions.
Right, okay.
So I read the Bible, I read the Quran. The Torah is basically the first 5 books of the Bible, so I've read that too, I guess.
So you're an atheist?
Yeah, I mean, for many years, I said that I was agnostic, right?
Yeah.
But
I like the fact that after that conversation with your dad, you wasn't just like, right, I don't believe, well, the bollocks. I like the fact that you went off exploring.
Yes,
before you came to any conclusion. I like that.
Well, you know,
a lot of people just go, well, that sounds shit, and then they.
No, I know, quite. No, I agree.
So.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not saying that because, like, I did it and I'm so fucking great. Yeah. But it's because I need to know a lot of facts before I make my mind up about something.
I like that. It's good.
So
you're not just assuming. You're not just judging.
No. You know. No. So I read a lot of Greek mythology, and I said to my dad, "Well, how come? I mean, yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It's great. It's amazing."
But I was like, I remember saying to my dad, "How come this is mythology, and the Bible isn't mythology?" And he was like, "That's a really
it's a very good question. Yeah, totally."
Yeah, well, what can I say? I was a very astute child. It's only in adulthood that I've failed myself, but you know. And I don't know, maybe you would have missed out because you're a little bit younger than me, but on Channel 4, when I was a kid, they used to have Indian, like Hindu myths, like Sikh myths from the Bhagavad Gita. And it was like a soap opera. It was fucking great.
Vaguely rings a bell.
Oh, it was fucking amazing. So we used to watch that because it was like that and Kabaddi.
I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Oh, probably. Yeah. It was fucking amazing. Some great, I don't know, like
stories,
religious stories from Hinduism. And like their religion is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Basically. And I think I really liked the like Greek myths and Sikhism because there was more than one god.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, as a story,
that kind of harks back to Roman and Greek mythology, though, because there was a god of everything.
Well, exactly, right. So. But and so, and I really liked those myths because, you know, and I don't mean to be offensive by saying myth. I just mean, to me, they're mythological stories because it makes more sense that there's like the god of trees and the god of wind and the god of wine and the god of destruction and the god of, I mean, like Godiva and Shiva and Ganesh and Hermes and you know, like, isn't that much more interesting? Isn't that much more interesting than there's a dude who made some people and then he made a sun and the sun ate some bread? I mean,
it makes more sense if you're arguing, you know, especially, and again, you know, going back to what, you know, the times that we're living in, it makes more sense when you're when people were saying things like, if there is a God, why does he allow this and that, blah, blah, blah. Then what you're saying about, well, you know, if there was a God for everything, if there was a God of war, you know, a God of pestilence, you know, all these different kind of, you know, then it makes sense, because you've got these gods fighting amongst each other. When you then collate all of them into one God, then it doesn't make sense, because now he just comes across as like a bit of a narcissist, and that's all. So from what you're saying, however, then you flip it and you're like,
the Christian God is dull, frankly.
But,
and I said to my mum, so my mum she really believes in God. She doesn't like the Catholic Church because she was raised in it, but she really believes in God. And she said to me once, Vicky, don't you think it's beautiful that God created the apple? And I said, what? And she said, you know,
was she eating an apple as she was saying this?
She was eating an apple, and she was like, it's just so.
You do have them euphoric moments when, you know, you could just be sitting on the grass on a lovely summer's day.
Absolutely, and, thinking, and you're like, isn't this? Yes, amazing. It's overwhelming.
So I get what she's saying.
Me too, but I said to her, I don't believe in God, and she said, what? And I said, you've known me. You've known me forever. And she was like, how can you not believe in God? And I'm like, Mum, we've had this fucking conversation. This is not me like coming out or anything. This is not a big revelation. I'm often like, yes, evolution makes much more sense than just blah, blah, blah. And she's like, but of course there is a God. And I said, okay, this is the point, James. I said, okay, if there is a God, why did he create us? And she said, so that humans can be with him in the kingdom of heaven, right? And I said, well, why didn't he just create us in the kingdom of heaven? And she didn't really have an answer. Because it doesn't make sense. I mean, to me, it just doesn't make sense. And I want there to be an order to the universe. I want there to be a point. Of course I do. One of the things that I envy about people who are so religious is that they think there's an afterlife, and they think that there is a point to all of this. And I think that that's beautiful, and I love that. And that's the one thing that I wish I had. Because I just have this existentialist dread, which is no way to live, you know. But I can't help but feel like, it doesn't make sense though. It just doesn't make sense.
No, I know.
The certainly in the Abrahamic religions, i.e. Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, it just to me doesn't make sense. And I wish it did to me, and I hope every day that I wake up and I think, yes, I have found faith. But that is the thing for me, is that you must find it within yourself.
Yeah.
And I've got friends who are born again Christians. That was my point about so I used to go to church with some friends of mine, and Hyatt and Tanya's parents were proper born again Christians. And like her dad, Hyatt's dad, would give me a right hard time, because I really enjoy debating about these things. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm not. Can I stress that now? I'm not saying that I'm right, but I'm saying this is my opinion right this second, right? And I would debate with Hyatt's dad in a very loving and playful way. And I remember sitting, and I was reading High Fidelity by Nick Hornby, and her dad said to me, what book are you reading? And I said, High Fidelity. And he said, who's it by? I said, Nick Hornby. And he said, how do you know that it's by him? And I said, yeah. And I said, well, it says it on the cover. I don't know. I mean, this is like 8 in the morning. We're getting ready to go to school. I I didn't wear makeup.
What was his point?
So he was like, yeah, well, that's like the Bible. And I said, what? And he said, the Bible was written by God. And I said, but it wasn't. The author's name isn't on the fucking Bible. And anyway, I was having this, very lively debate with him, but it was 8 a.m. So give me a break, bitch. Anyway, I really enjoyed playing devil's advocate with him. And a few years ago, he became an atheist, that particular man. Yeah. And so I was playing devil's advocate with him, and I was saying, how do you know there isn't a God? Because I'm an arsehole. Yeah, because I'm an arsehole. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying you're not necessarily right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Whether you're religious or not, I'm just saying we're not necessarily right, and we're going to find out.
Well, this is my point as well. It's like, especially
later.
with atheists, is that they are very quick. I do feel like they're very quick to
these
judge
fundamentalist atheists be my fucking nutting
and shoot anything down in flames. Which one I think is disrespectful to what other people believe.
Yes.
And 2, I'm not. I was raised a Catholic, but not a practicing. I'm a Catholic, but I'm not.
But did you do communion?
I did communion.
You did your confirmation. Yeah. What's your confirmation name?
Matthew.
Boring.
I know, man.
My mum's is Lourdes.
Oh, I like that. I should have gone for something like that. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So my mum's name is Maria Jesus Stokes.
Yeah. Why did I go for Matthew?
But I don't know where you put your confirmation in, because I wasn't confirmed. I wasn't baptized or anything. So is it after your middle name? So my mum's name would be, so my mum's name could be Maria Jesus, which is Jesus, right? So I always say to people, my mum is Jesus. Maria Jesus Lourdes Stokes.
Right.
Which I think is amusing.
I mean,
I'm not Catholic.
No,
but your mum's Catholic. Yeah, but I'm not.
Were you christened and confirmed?
No.
Oh, see, I was. So officially, I'm a Catholic. If you were to ask me what I believe, I would nowadays say I believe in something, but I don't know what. I like Chris Martin from Coldplay. I like he once said that he's an atheist, so he kind of he can see everyone's kind of religious point of view. I like that.
I like that.
I would like to believe that there's something afterwards. I think for me, I'm kind of more trying to be kind of positive. And going back to what we were saying earlier on about that kind of euphoric, sitting on the grass and like your mum was holding an apple going, this is amazing. You do have them moments, and it could be something really mundane and stupid, like a cup of tea.
Of course you do.
And go, look at the shape of this mug, or look at the colour of this tea. This is fucking amazing. You could be sitting on the grass looking at the blue sky. This is amazing. And them moments kind of, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something more sort of this. Whether we're ever going to know it or not, whether, when we go, that's it, we'll never know. But in the grand scheme of things, there is something else going on. I think what humans do is
I think it would be a shame.
Yeah. And I think not just what humans do. I think what we've discovered, there is definitely more out there. And you just kind of think, where from? Where's that come from? And that could be just because our small minds can't
comprehend it.
Can't comprehend the fact that there might not be nothing, and it's just there. We as human beings have got to have a reason for everything.
Yeah.
So but there could be. I'm open. That's the thing. I'm open.
Yeah.
And so I don't agree with anyone, whether they believe in God, whether they don't, to say everyone else is wrong. It's like,
No. I mean, this is my biggest problem with Abrahamic religion, is that it feels like and it's not necessarily true, because I've had many sort of scholarly debates with people. But it feels like one of the things is, well, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, then you are going to hell. And I think that's unfair.
Rubbish.
Right? I think that's unfair.
Yeah. I mean, I say rubbish,
and
again,
also because I read the
true,
Bible,
but it might not be. You don't
well,
know.
and I read the Bible, and the new covenant with Jesus Christ doesn't suggest that at all, actually, because Jesus Christ doesn't say, basically go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I once had an argument with my friend's dad, who was pretty fucking full on Christian at the time.
Is this the same guy that became an atheist?
Yeah, and now, and it's really interesting. And I know a couple of people who were proper Christian who are now proper atheist.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's really interesting. I still don't agree with you.
Yeah.
Just because I present as an atheist doesn't mean that I think that you're right. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think that Christianity or Islam or Muslim or Judaism or Sikh or whatever your religion is, I don't think that you're wrong. And I don't think that I'm right. All I'm saying is that in my heart, this is what I think.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that I'm correct. What was my point? So this is half a bottle of bourbon down, by the way.
Wow. I'm almost done with the red wine. And then I might have a little
You've only drunk one bottle of red wine. The other day, I talked to so many people. Yeah, exactly. I talked to so many people the other day. I got through a bottle of white, a bottle of red, and a bottle of Prosecco. And I was like, I've got to go to work, pretend go to work, right, in the morning. And then the whole day was a fucking write-off anyway, because working from home is hard for my job. But anyway, so my point being that I can't remember what the point. When you come to edit this, James, you're going to be like, what the fuck is this girl?
I'm just going to put it all out. Fuck the edits.
Good.
You were talking about the dad that is now an atheist.
Yes. Yeah, but I can't remember what my point was about the dad. That Jed, his name is. He's a lovely guy, and I consider him to be like my family. Right. But he's so atheist now. It makes me laugh.
Has he ever explained to you why he went from being so religious to so atheist? What was the reason?
Well,
are you allowed to discuss or not?
No, I can't really remember, but he did because I was drunk. Right. But he did in a garden explain to me, but I was also being so contrary. So I was just like, yeah, but how do you know? Yeah, but how do you know, Jed? How do you know?
But do you know what? I know you're being contrary, but at the same time, that's kind of my point, is that no one knows. No one knows. So atheists don't know. I mean, you can argue science, and yes, science will take you a long way.
I suppose.
You can't prove that ghosts exist.
No. There's
no scientific proof that ghosts don't exist. No. There's no scientific proof that ghosts do exist. So it's that kind of. Yeah, I'm using that as a kind of metaphor.
Yeah. No. I agree.
There's that kind of thing. Like, show me the proof, and I'll be like, yeah, fair enough. But I'm still kind of like, well, if that's what you believe, you're entitled to believe that, because at the end of the day, no one can really.
No, absolutely. And I suppose here's my problem with, let's say, Christianity, right? My problem is why?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem for me is, yeah, but why? Why did God create us in his own image? Why did he bother making Adam and Eve and Lilith, who's like a precursor to Adam and Eve? And just why did he do that? Like you already had angels, and there are theological arguments about why that happened, but why? But why for real? You know, and then the fact that Satan doesn't appear in the Bible at all, not a figure at all. So that's a whole thing. And then there are all these other books that are that are a thing that just aren't in the New Testament or the Old Testament, because people decided nah, we don't need that in the Bible. That's not a thing that we need. And I just think all of that sort of, I suppose, politics aside, why do we exist? What's the fucking point? What is the point? Even if you have religion as the reason of existence, and we're gonna have an afterlife and all of that, but why? What's the fucking what's again, the end game? But and that's my problem.
And that's going back to what I was saying though about, there might not be any reason. There doesn't because our small minds comprehend that.
No, of course. But the problem is that with religion, it feels like there is a reason.
There's a reason for everything.
Where with science, there isn't necessarily a reason. It just is because it is. Like an apple falls down because of gravity, and gravity exists because it's gravity, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like it's just, there's no other bigger
picture,
philosophical debate about it. It's just, that's the way it is, isn't it?
At the same time, it's quite
where with religion it feels like the point is because there's like
and
it's like, well, actually there isn't a reason. And I suppose that my brain anyway just goes, but I don't get it.
I mean, it's fascinating that
it is and I've like I said to you, I've read the Bible, I've read the Quran, and I think that theology is fascinating, religion is fascinating, from a sociological point of view it's fascinating anyway, whether you believe in it or not. It's fucking interesting. This shit is interesting. And
I wonder why something like the Bible and Christianity has lasted so long, yet going back to Greek and Roman myths, and even Norse gods.
So let me tell you something.
Like at some point, they are familiar to us as myths now. When you learn about them at school, they are myths. At some point, they weren't myths.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
But it's amazing how like Christianity and the Bible has endured as being gospel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Well, do you know what gospel means, by the way?
Please tell me.
Good news.
Wow.
The gospel is good news, because the good news is that Jesus Christ died to save our sins. That is the good news.
Previously we were talking about the fact that the Bible has endured, but Roman and Greek myths them stories have become myths now.
So Roman mythology is basically Greek mythology with different names.
Yeah. And then Greek mythology is a spin-off of Roman mythology is a spin-off of Greek mythology, and then a spin-off of that is Disney's Hercules, which is an amalgamation,
which I've never seen.
Oh fuck it!
Now I know.
You've got Disney Plus.
Now I know.
All right, that. It's amazing.
I will. I've written it down. I've even written it down on my piece of paper.
You will love it.
Hercules. I think so. Okay. So let's go back a little second. So there's Greek mythology, right? This is obviously pre-Christianity. And like very importantly, it's pre-Christianity, because then the Roman Empire builds up.
Yeah.
And the Romans, they go, oh, I like these guys. I like these myths. I'm going to steal them. I'm going to steal them.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal them, and I'm going to rename them.
Right.
So Zeus is going to be Jupiter,
yes,
for example, and like there is no need for this. And Mars is going to be Aries, and all these, you know, all these other things that we all know, sort of pop culturally, right?
Yeah.
You know, this is not me telling anyone anything new. And Hermes and Apollo are the same thing, and blah 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 blah, right? But then, because the Roman Empire lasts for a really fucking long time, right? And in the midst of this, Christianity rises, and we have to remember that all of these things are also political, which is very dull for us now as modern people. But so,
well, it's kind of in the same vein as that saying of history is written by the winners. Do you know what I mean? In that sense that
yeah, no, absolutely.
By the Romans invading and the Roman Empire growing, already they've destroyed the kind of Greek. I want to keep saying the Greek myths, but the Greek
but it is the Greek myths, you know, at the time, and you know now
we love that. We'll take that for our own and go and do our own thing.
So anyway, religion turns into basically Christianity for many political reasons, and I'm more than willing to read up on it and tell you a better thing about it. But basically,
in a nutshell,
Roman mythology turns into Roman Catholicism, right? Because obviously Roman Catholicism is different to pure Christianity.
But what's interesting though is that there isn't, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no, you can see the link between Greek mythology and Roman mythology. You can see where they've kind of gone,
well, yeah, because
we'll take that because we like that. But there's one God in the Bible, you know.
Yes.
So there's no kind of linkage between Roman mythology.
No, that's right. That's right, because there's hundreds of years of difference. Because Roman Empire lasted for such a long time.
But that is why I still find it fascinating, because
it is fascinating.
The Bible hasn't changed, and that's been around a lot longer.
But it has changed.
I mean, I suppose the interpretations have changed.
Well, not only the interpretation, not only the interpretation, James, but also the books that we've used are changed, and also in the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Bible, which is the Jewish Bible, if you like.
Yes, yeah.
You have the introduction of Lilith, and Lilith is the first woman, and she was created before Adam. But in the Christian version of the Bible, Lilith get a look in, right? So although the Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible, it's the first 5 books with amendments, if you like, with conditions. And then if you look at, you know, further into sort of Christian mythology, if you like, Lilith is a demon. In Christianity,
which then kind of reflects.
But in Judaism, she is not a demon. She is the first woman.
And that's the thing. Going back to what I was, you know, that quote about history is written by the winners,
the victors. Yeah.
That to me implies that you've got a, when man is power, you know, when woman is not.
Of course.
To turn the woman into the villain, or to exclude her entirely. That's
and of course there could be a whole discussion going forward about Lilith and her role in the patriarchy, right?
Yeah.
Because because the point is that she was left out of the Christian Bible because in my very naive opinion, because isn't it true that it's more powerful for man to come first? Man is in the image of God,
and that was very,
and then from man, yes, but
so if that originates from.
But and that's the point of Christianity. Yes, no, exactly so. So in the Roman Catholicism, you have man, Adam, and then from man you have woman, Eve.
So again, man is just superior, woman
of course
is second rate.
Yes.
And then years
we were created because isn't it ironic, I suppose?
Don't you think?
Don't you think a little too ironic? And yeah, I really do think it's like rain on your wedding day. Do we have to pay royalties? Maybe. Oh, fuck. Alanis will be fine.
She'll love it.
I feel like she's a nice lady. So
look, if anyone comes to us, we're like, we didn't know, we're new to this.
I never knew. No, I didn't know nothing. But what was my point?
We were about Roman Catholicism. We were talking about Adam and Eve being in, second rate, compared to man.
So isn't it ironic that all people are born of woman, right?
Yeah. Women are powerful, fucking powerful.
Right, but we don't, and I don't mean to sound like a sort of a sexist, misandrist feminist about this, but women are, look, my opinion, my real opinion is that we need men just as much as we need women, right? I'm a feminist, of course I am, but I'm also annoyed by the patriarchy. Of course I am, because I'm a woman and I'm a victim of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
But I think that men are just as much victims of patriarchy as women are. Right? Like, men's lives are not as valued sometimes as women's lives are.
I mean,
because who is it that goes to fight wars? Men. Who is it that goes to do really dangerous jobs? Men. I'm not a misandrist by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm also very keen on the idea that men should be feminists too, because the problem is patriarchy, sure, but not because men are in charge. It's because capitalism is in charge.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
anyway, that's a different rant for a different day, and I tell you, I've got a lot to say about that. But my point being that way back when the Bible was being pushed as basically a political agenda, one didn't want women to be the first. So in the Bible, Lilith is the first woman, and then it's Adam, and then it's Eve. So in the Torah, that's how it is, and Lilith is portrayed as this demon. But in the Christian Bible, it's Adam first, and then it's Eve. And then there's a whole apple thing, and actually it's not an apple, but whatever. And there's a snake and a thing and a thing and a thing, and that's fine. And that it is what it is. But you're gonna have to cut out all of these pauses that are like me going, "What's my fucking point?"
Again, it's like like we were saying about history is written by who it benefits, and then
absolutely.
Then years later, you're looking at someone like Henry VIII. Who's then changed Catholicism just because he wants to get out of a marriage.
Who does it benefit? Men. And I'm not saying that as a feminist.
But
I'm not saying that as a feminist.
No, but you're totally right.
But it is that it's men want to put women in their place. So they go, okay, we're gonna is there like a Photoshop word for cutting around, like a thing, you know what I mean? Anyway, so they like cut around the Lilith character because they don't want that. because that's too fucking controversial.
Yeah.
And shows women to be strong and powerful and stuff, so they don't want that. And I don't mean to sound so sort of 1970s don't shave my leg feminist, but it is a feminist thing of like, oh well, that's why men did that. And unfortunately that is why men did that, because they didn't want women to go, oh, women are really powerful. Because my feeling is that everybody is powerful, but yeah. So anyway, so my point being that going back to why is Greek mythology myth and but biblical isn't myth? It's because of really good PR. Basically that's why it is.
And I guess if you've got like, what better PR is there than the Roman Empire?
Right, because they lasted a really long time, and they took over a lot of fucking countries. Like, it is nuts.
And then after that, you've got kings. Kings champion Christianity. Who's not going to?
So if you're going to talk about Henry VIII, for example, that is a lot later than
obviously,
Roman Empire.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, though, after the Roman Empire,
well, it sort of cements it, because we have the Church of England. And I suppose that the thing with Catholicism is it really binds together some rules and laws that people need. Rules and laws, right? We know that's fact. None of us can disagree with that. But at the same time that Henry's going, I just want to get divorced, Martin Luther is over in Germany going, yo, Catholics, you people are being too bitchy about these things. We need to have some fucking rules about these things. And I'm gonna sellotape a bunch of things that I think like need to change, because there is nothing in the Bible about a priest being God's representative on earth. Right? One, you have no right to say that we don't have a direct communication with God. In fact, in the Bible, it says you can pray to me and I will hear your prayer. But the Catholic Church says you have to go via me because I'm really important, because I don't fuck women. And so that makes me really important. And it's like, no, it doesn't make you really important. You've just said that you're really important. And Martin Luther is like, just because you say it doesn't mean it's true. And that's my really, really vague
but you know what, you've taught me some
explanation.
If I'm honest, like, because you I know the ins and outs, but you told me in a way that's quite simple, and I'm simple. So religion is a big thing, and I can imagine.
Oh, it's massive.
Going forward, we'll have many discussions on religion.
Yes.
And we'll have part 2s and 3s and 4s and whatever.
Listen, because religion is massive.
But regardless of your religion, I think it goes back to our motto, which you could probably say is our religion. And if people want to step up and join, please do. And basically our religion is, don't be a dick. So that's it.
The golden rule, which is part of all of the major religions that I can think of, and is certainly in the New Testament. Jesus Christ says, basically, be nice.
Yeah.
That's the golden rule. The golden rule is be nice. The whole turn another cheek. And when people say be a Christian about things, it's essentially be nice.
Yeah.
And my philosophy is, expand upon that and say, if you can't actively be nice, well, don't be a dick.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if you're gonna be nice, then you will. I say you will outshine the people that are knobs, but actually, it's quite the opposite. Usually, the people that are nice are the ones that aren't seen. The people that are dicks are seen, but they will be outed.
If there is a heaven, I feel like Jesus Christ will be like, you will be accepted into the kingdom of heaven, because
I mean, look, we all do shitty things.
Of course we do.
Things. But I think fundamentally, if you feel guilty about cutting up someone on the motorway, then I think fundamentally you're a nice person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, then,
yeah, I do. Yeah.
If it bothers you afterwards, then fundamentally you're a nice person. It doesn't matter what kind of, every so often you have an argument with someone or you're rude to someone because you've had a shitty day. I think fundamentally, if, things like cutting someone up on the motorway and afterwards you're like, fuck, I feel really bad for doing that. Or even if you do have an argument with someone and afterwards you feel really bad, regardless of whether it was your fault or not, I think if fundamentally you feel shitty inside, you're a good person. So
I agree.
It doesn't absolve you. It doesn't mean that every time you do something bad, you're awful.
No.
If you've got a conscience and a moral compass, you're all right. You're all
and
right.
that's what I think about religion.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to have accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, or accepted Muhammad as the actual prophet. Praise be his name. I think that Allah or Yahweh or Jehovah or God or whatever you want to call him, he will accept that you've tried to live your life fundamentally in a good way. And I think that if that being exists, they will appreciate that. And if they don't, then well, it's all good, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
but also,
do you know what I mean?
If you don't believe in that and you're an atheist, you are that God. You are your own God. I joined
the Humanist Society.
Right. Okay.
And for a minute, and their point is good without God, which I like. I appreciate that, and I fully stand by that. I think you should just try and be good, whether or not you're going to be rewarded in the kingdom of heaven.
Without sounding wanky, you'll be accepted in your own kingdom.
Yes.
So if you can hold your head high and be like, "No, I'm
absolutely
a nice person," you are your own God. You're doing your own. You're making your own rules and living by them. So crack on and be nice.
Absolutely. Just be nice. But what harm is it to be nice?
It takes very little effort. Very little effort. And it makes me feel better.
Yeah. Being nice, though, doesn't include being pretend nice.
No.
I mean, I just think that that's what Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, would believe too. Don't be a dick. Amen. I'm only talking about a very small number of religions, in this particular episode. Other religions are available. You know what I mean? That's the ending. That's your conclusion right there. Other religions are available.
So what's the rest of your week going to be like?
I don't know. I've been saving up Better Call Saul, and every day I'm like, I'm going to watch Better Call Saul.
Have you seen any of it?
Yeah.
What are you saving up? The latest series, or?
Yeah, so the later series, I watched the first 3 episodes as and when they came out.
Right.
Then I got an inkling that we might have to be working from home and shit. And so I thought, let me just, put this in my back pocket.
Have you watched Tiger King?
No, I don't want to.
I didn't want to, but then I did. And, oh my God.
I don't want to know, but I don't want to watch cruelty to animals.
No, I mean, but do you want to watch Stupid Americans?
Well, I could just, I could just watch a presidential fucking debate, can't I?
To be honest,
oh my God,
it's not really a spoiler, but at one point he tries to run for president, and then he goes to run for governor, and one of these rednecks even says, usually I'd say he didn't have a hope in hell, but these days, yeah, definitely, right? Because
what I find very peculiar is his husbands are apparently straight.
Straight, they are. Yeah. Well, that's what they said. But so if you watch the program, you'll discover
which
that
I won't.
They were also drug addicts, so he kept just basically feeding them drugs to keep them there.
Oh, it's awful! It's not even animal cruelty. It's
not. But this is the thing. Do you know what, the tigers? Yeah, they are a part of it, and they are cruel to them, and it's horrible. But that is just a currant in a very big cake. There is so much going on.
What an expression!
There is.
Is that a Kent expression that I've never heard of the metropolitan?
I'll be honest, I
world.
just came up with that.
I like it. It's a good one.
There is so much going on, and when you think you've got it all sussed, they chuck something else at you, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Fucking hell.
This has been a Head Full of Straw production of Vicky Goes On and On with Vicky Stokes and James Wells.